Hello YouTube and welcome back to W140 Restorations. I'm standing behind Betty, my original W140 S500, and more about her coming up. But we take a look at the brand new W140 Restorations beer fridge. It looks fantastic. I cry over some broken Mercedes parts, which was hard not to burst into tears after I broke some stuff. And we learned that there's more than one way to skin a cat regarding the sunshade on these W140s, because they turn into this real quick. So come grab a cup of magic bean juice, have a sip, and let's hop in to the next episode of Project Iona. So, one of the things about Iona that's been bugging me is this tan sunshade. The reason it was replaced, and this happens with a lot of 140s, is between the headliner and the roof of the car, there is a piece of insulation that runs the mid-length of the top of the car. And over the years they get hot and delaminate and fall down, and when they do, they generally eat the cover. And that happened in Project Betty. It obviously happened in Iona, and this one has been replaced. So the W140 has two cutouts for vents, and the coupes have four, and this is the facelift model that has the one piece with the vents. I'm pretty sure that the pre-facelift does not. So let's go ahead and take that out, because I want to replace it. I want to get it out of here, and part of getting to all these replacement items up here has to go through the sunroof. So first and foremost, this long plastic piece that runs the length of the front, I've already pulled down. It took me a while to get it out, and I'll show you why. It's a very delicate piece. There are, let's slide it back. There are four of these little tabs that snap in on the front of the metal here, and they're really brittle because they've been in the sun since the cars were made. So you got to be careful taking them out. They just snap down and then slide out one side than the other. But to get the sunroof out, moonroof, whatever you want to call it, to get the glass panel out, you have to take these washers off. To get to the washers, the ones up front, there's four that are really easy to get to, but on the side there are some rubber gaskets, and to get the gasket out, they pull sideways. You just pull on the side, they should pop all the way out. I'm going to pull those out after I take our wrenches here and start. Get 8mm. Start taking these off so we can take the glass out, and that's one of the keys to getting this whole front assembly out of the car, is having the glass out. I'll show you on camera. But the washers on the bolts are part of the glass, and this rubber here is what we need to pull out to reach the ones that are on the side. Once those are out, the whole glass assembly just pulls out, and this just pulls out to the side. So we're going to go ahead and take the driver's side off and the passenger side off, and then I'll show you where the bolts go. just going to show you now. The rubber gasket adheres up into the glass, and you just pull that out slowly and away from the glass, and pull this assembly out from the frame. See, there it goes. Just pull that out away from the glass. And then seal all the way down. This whole thing pulls forward at a diagonal and then pulls out. And now you can see the other two washers on the driver's side. And the ones on the passenger side. When you take those out, the whole assembly just pulls up and out. Alright, with those washers out, the glass should just pop up. And lift out. And she's out. Alright, looking down inside Iona, you can see the slide. Two holes I was talking about. This whole assembly. See how it slides forward? And what we're going to do is we're going to lift this whole thing up and out towards the front. And the whole thing should there she goes, come out. Alright, now she's out. Careful not to break these little tabs. These tabs over here and these runners help hold it to pull back when the glass opens as well. So let's take out the whole assembly now. Alright, 2 screws each for the visor, and then these little clips flip down for a screw to pull out, and this is where the electricity actually goes into the visor. These are wired right here. This part's electrified. I got 12 volts, we're going to do it. We're going to pull off plastic for the covers and these metal tabs on the front. Pull out and in. The same type of metal tab that's on the rear. And the whole assembly comes out. We're going to replace the whole assembly. Because I have a replacement one. Oh, come on. And you can't mix them up. They're all specific to the plug. All right, that's out. Get that out of the way. Next is the rear view mirror. And to get the rear view mirror out, you basically want to jam a screwdriver up here in between the rear view mirror and the headliner and force it down. I don't know if anyone's been in here. Nope, it's pretty tight. So let me get a screwdriver and we'll pull that down. is merely held in with friction. There it goes. Next, the Phillips screws, and the whole assembly drops out. And she's free. Alright, let me get the passenger side. Alright. And there's the tab I was talking about, and out she comes. It looks like the one thing I did forget to do was to unhook the microphone for the Alpine. We'll go ahead and take that out, and this whole thing will come out. You can see the whole headliner front from A pillar to A pillar is now out, and we can go ahead and replace it. Alright, we went ahead and got the headliner cover out from Iona. I'm going to show you a few things about it. Some of the reasons the shoe's taken out. You can see all of the little smoke burn marks over the years and scratches and all the different imperfections that are in this part, as well as the A-pillar covers. This is the one being by the driver's side. You can see the burn marks in it as well. So I got a full new, actually replacement cover from a recycled W140, and this one is exactly the same, except instead of being this gray felt, it's this gray vinyl leather look material. So the difference between these two, you can see, is this hole right here for the speaker. I thought it was the Alpine speaker, but turns out it wasn't. It has a Mercedes-Benz marking on it and an MB part number, so this speaker was part of the original equipment that came on Iona, so it sits right there. So what we need to do is set up a template and mark how we're going to do a new cut for this replacement one. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and get some of our blue masking tape. So we have a nice template to mark on. Put it in the same general type spot where it was on Iona. And then we're gonna trace it and cut it around. It really only has to be the size of this to fit through. So let's go ahead and get it lined up. And grab a pin. And make our mark. And that is going to be the general size and location of where it needs to be. We'll eyeball, and you can see how close it gets right here and how it's going to be the same place right there. So we only have one chance to really do this, so we're just going to go slow and make our cuts. And make our mark just enough
for the connector to make its way through. Base plate like that. Let's mark our hole for the screw. Yep. Hole's a little bit bigger. That's the bottom base plate screw. Yep, if it's like that. There we go. There's that. Flip that over. Wire comes up through there. Base plate screw. All right, we got it figured out. That goes through there. Base plate goes around it. The screw goes there. And take our Phillips. It goes right there. Take our screwdriver. All right. All right, there we have it. Now our speaker, or I'm sorry, our microphone for our hands-free works, and the orientation that was on the old one. So that's first part. Something else that I got for Iona is a new set of dome lights. You can see the old ones here, pretty broken, very burnt and smoky, so I recycled a pair out of a W140 that are nice and clear and clean, and we're gonna go ahead and use these to replace the ones out of Iona. And I showed you the A-pillars and how bad they were that came out of Iona. Here's the old set, but I sourced along with the new cover these that we're getting ready to put in that match our new ready to go interiors. So let's go ahead and grab all this stuff and put it back together. And now we're going to end where we began. The last thing to do to put the front of the headliner back in one of these W140s is the very first thing you have to do. So we end where we begin. And this is the front of the headliner, and it sets right up snug against the steel that runs the length of A-pillar to A-pillar in the front of the car. And there's these clips. There's 5 of these clips that run the length of this piece of aluminum, and there's this little grippy right here in this piece of extruded trim. And what we're going to do is try to slide it over, making sure not to break these tabs. There's 5 corresponding tabs as well that came on this piece, and that's going to hold all this together and keep it snug so we can put our glass back in and our sunshade and finish out the top of Project Iona. So I'm going to hop in and see if we can start working this up to make sure that we can hold it tight and get it fitting in there to make sure it runs the full length. So let's hop in and see about this next part. I'll set it right there and hop in. I grabbed a different tool. Hopefully I can get it on here without crimping it. That's really my concern, is making sure it goes underneath like this, but all the way across. And it's wanting to be a booger about it, not gonna lie. Alright, after some finagling, I got this aluminum cross piece all the way in. And that's going to be the last thing we have to do for the front of the headliner and our new A-pillars. I just want to walk y'all back through them, as they are nice and clean and in. I've got my matching A-pillars and the new centerpiece, and all the way down. So it's really starting to come together, and I think I'm going to end it there. A few final things to show you. Here are the 3 Phillips screws that holds the assembly for the front Bose speaker. Iona does have the Bose speaker system, although she does have an Alpine head unit. I need to find an original, but there's the 3 bolts that really hold the bottom part of the center of the whole front assembly together. And then there's the back clips and the front clips that hold this assembly together. This is for the self-dimming rear view mirror. If you look through the windshield over there, and that pile is the rear view mirror that I dropped, and I'll show you that in a second. But the clips for the covers, there's a front tab and there's 2 side tabs, and these go in relatively easy, to be honest with you. So the front one first, and then the 2 side ones, and they should snap in. Trying to do this with one hand, and the same thing for the one on the driver's side. And once that's in and snapped in place, I'm going to show you that they work. And that's going to be it for the beginnings of the end of the interior for Iona. Again, getting really close to being done. But let's talk about this. So as we head out of Iona, love the soft closed doors. All right, and this really gave me a moment of pause. For the discerning W140 observer, you'll notice that this has the bottom with the red and green illuminators for when you use the key fob. This one is not off in 1997. This was a spare I had, a complete self-dimming rear view mirror, and I broke it. I was trying to take it off with one hand and film, and as I showed in the beginning, one screwdriver to pop it off, and it fell. And it doesn't take a lot because the plastic's really old, so just gave myself a moment of pause. So I need to source a new one. They're not cheap. I need to find one that works and complete. So it's one of those things that isn't going to happen on this episode for all the interior work. Upcoming, the seats. I did find these 2 pair I've talked about in the past. I need to do a little bit of repair on this one. The other one is in mint condition for the most part, already been separated. I need to take the seats out of Iona, get these ready to go and put them back in. And then last, as promised at the very beginning of the episode, the brand new W140 Restorations beer fridge. Please let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments. It does match the toolboxes, and I think I'm going to end the video there. Next episode is going to be a rear view mirror if I can find one, and then the sunshade. It's taken a lot of work to clean up the old sunshade, so I think we're going to make an episode all for itself. There's a lot of work to do, and then installing it with the sunroof. So with that, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate all the comments. Please subscribe to the channel and keep it going, and we'll catch you again on the next episode of W140 Restorations. Bye everybody.